All right, it's 5:15. Welcome everybody to our regular scheduled City Planning Commission meeting. Today is Wednesday, August 7th, 2024. It's 5:15 p.m. I'll call this meeting to order. In attendance, we have Commissioners Olson, Mayor Brian Smith, Justin Behrens, Dana Gusky, Jake Waller, new member Jake Waller, and Henry Veliker. We have one absent. Angela Lesage is not here. And then we also have staff, City Administrator Aaron Jensen, and our heading up tonight's meeting, Jared Kivila. So we'll get going by approving the agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Olson, second by Behrens, that we approve the agenda as printed. Discussion, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. We had some minutes from, remember, we didn't have a meeting in July, but we did have a meeting in June, and so we need to approve these minutes and place them on file. So could we get a motion to approve? Please?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Olson, second by Veliker, that we approve the Planning Commission minutes from June 5th. Any discussion on that? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. Action items. Site plan review for River North Apartments, Godfrey Drive. And I should have mentioned, you guys heard them asking, but there are a couple of individuals online here that Jared, I'm sure, is going to introduce again here for us. But Jared, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Yes, as you had noted, Alex, and is Wade there as well, Alex, or is it just you?
Just me today.
Just Alex. So Alex with Tycor and Brad with Waupaca, I think is how you pronounce it. Sorry, Brad, if I butchered that.
That's okay. That's okay. Waupaca.
Perfect. So they are here if you have any specific questions. But we have been working with Brad, Alex, and then our internal staff team, as well as our contract engineer, Strand, to work through this site plan review for the River North Ridge Apartments. These are on Godfrey Drive, so just to the east of Go Right Way and to the west of Carousel Gymnastics, to give you some reference there. The beginning of this agenda item is on page 3. There's starting the plan set is on page 4, and then there's a variety of pages on there, of course. So staff did have an opportunity to review this. We did provide comments back to the developer and engineer and their engineer. They did provide comments back to us, and we did get some amended materials as what you have late in front of you and also emailed to you. So one is the staff report from city staff specifically, and the other one is the engineer report from our contract engineer, Strand. I know you guys got these late, so I'm happy to kind of go through these just a little bit. But from the original review and working through with the developer, we're able to resolve quite a few issues. The engineer was able to amend the plans to resolve some of the issues as well. Some of the things still noted here on the engineering report, parking, they noted that parking appears sufficient, but if the city discretion, additional information could be requested. At this time, staff did not feel that there'd be a need for that, so nothing really needed with that. The utility easement for the sanitary sewer that is actually on Go Right Way's parcel and will be servicing the apartments and Go Right Way. The developer is working on this easement and getting signatures with Go Right Way, so that is being worked on. Strand noted that the lighting plan has been received by the city and has been approved. We worked through with the developer on that. There's doing wall packs on the building, so really no freestanding lighting near the property line, so we should be good. Stormwater management plan. This has not been completed yet, but will be given to the city and worked through if needed after the approval, so it will be a condition of the approval. I did check with our Department of Public Works. They are okay with that to get that after the fact and work through it. Stormwater basin, there are a few items that as a condition we'll need to figure out if the city is presuming maintenance of that, or if the developer is. Depending on which route is chosen, there might be some additional work. If you flip to the next page of the engineering review, site layout. So the path easement, there's a path shown on page. Oop, I must have passed it. Whoops, I do not have the updated version in here. But there's a path easement shown on page 5. That easement was amended just a little bit. If you follow that easement on the east side of the property line, kind of right up against that pond looking, yep, right there where Aaron's showing on the TV. And Aaron, I don't know if I did not click share on the Teams, so if you wanted to share, you certainly could. I don't think I was, unless you already did it, but. So that easement was extended down to kind of complete the L on the south lip there, still on the east property line. The only other thing that was noted upon the staff review is when evaluating where the sidewalk was up on the preliminary single-family plat portion of this development, which you don't have in front of you, but straight north of this development, and then a little to the east, is where the single-family 35 lots are going to be. It was proposed to have sidewalk on the south side of that development, so one side of the street. If you take that and follow it down on this future road to the north, it would end up on the east. So we were just asking the developers to make sure it's shown on the site plan, that crossing of that Godfrey Drive there is on the east side of that future road. So we'll work through that with them, make sure that's clear. And if something needs to be adjusted, we certainly can, but there'll need to be some path amendments in the site plan, but staff feels confident that shouldn't hold this up. Next one on the second page, retaining wall. Staff just wanted some additional information on how this retaining wall is going to be built. We have full confidence in the developers that they are going to construct it in a sufficient manner, and nothing's going to happen with it. But given that the retaining wall is so close to a property that is outside the city, on a property that may never be developed, and the individual uses for hunting, and is protective of their property, we wanted to make sure that we did have that information. That way, if we do get any comments from that property owner, we have information that we can provide them. So it's a safety mechanism trying to please all parties and make sure this development continues smoothly. Utility plan, next on the line. So just noting that there is a existing manhole where previously thought there was no manhole. So modifications will need to be made on how to connect to that, but developer and engineer will work on that. The final one is the landscaping plan. So an updated landscaping plan was provided to the city. However, it did not incorporate the parking lot buffering. So that's really specifically looking at the dark gray areas on the site plans that are abutting Godfrey Drive. And the landscaping can be found on page 12. So there were some minor adjustments to this, of course, but some additional landscaping will be needed along that parking lot area. So we'll work on that with the developer and their engineer. So that's really it from our contract engineer's review. That, of course, we're working through, and we adopt that as part of our recommendations and requirements and conditions. Going over to the staff review, everything really checked out, just a few things that were already noted from Strand. The landscaping, different stormwater management stuff, and then the lighting was added as a condition as well, just to make sure that they maintain that. We have no questions that they won't. It's just added as a general condition. So I do apologize. I did get this out just before the meeting, so I didn't give everyone a whole lot of time to look over. Alex, Brad, if you guys have any initial comments that you'd like to discuss during this meeting, we certainly can. Otherwise, anything that we want to discuss as more administratively, we certainly can as well.
I think you laid it out pretty well. I'm good right now.
Perfect.
Yeah, thanks, Jared. I think everything that was brought up in the review and then the re-review is something that'll be easily rectified.
Perfect. And if commission members have any specific questions for them, I'm sure they are more than happy to answer. I know they are very excited to see this development continue. So,
I do. After
Yeah.
a brief review, it says maximum height 45 feet. Now, I'm not an architect, but is that 2 or 3 stories? And will there
These
be
are
any
2
dwellings
stories.
45 feet high?
What was that, Alex?
These are 2-story buildings.
2-story.
Got it.
The maximum height is actually just the code maximum height. I believe the height of these buildings is less than that.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess that was my question. I guess the maximum allowed was 45 feet. I was just wondering if there's going to be anything close to that. To me, 10 and 10 and 10 is 3 stories, and 15 feet is the pitch of the roof. Or am I wrong?
Oh, you're right. You're close.
Is the roof going to be pitched or flat?
It will be pitched,
Okay.
but it's 2 stories, so 10, 10 plus the roof.
Yeah, I did not put an exact height in the report, but when working with them, we knew it was less than the maximum. So
Good.
Jared, have you had discussion with Alex and Brad today since yesterday?
no, we have not. We've sent a few things to, I forget what her name was, but one of the gals in the engineering team.
Sure.
I think so. And then I sent my reports prior, and that was it.
So this site plan review, is this we're just reviewing the site plan, we're approving the site plan,
Be looking for approval, yes,
of the site plan?
of the site plan,
And
yes.
we're not getting exact numbers, we're getting parameters, from what I can see, for building size and things of that nature. Or are we getting,
So
am I reading the wrong thing?
we have.
What are you looking at here, Dana?
Are you looking at the dimensional standards?
Yes.
And I'm realizing that in my rush to complete this, I did not change all the answers. So some of those may not be exactly correct, and I apologize. But in reviewing them, I do know that they all are accurate. They are all good to go. These are all also something that Strand looked at and had checked off as well. So all the dimensional standards are good. I can get you more accurate numbers,
These are standards.
but
This is what.
Okay, and so,
yeah. So they're looking for approval. And it is the approval of the site plan. The exact building plans are not approved here. They're approved by the state, and then just put through the inspection department. So
the site plan review includes where the roads are gonna be,
yes, they're internal roads, parking lot,
the trail,
the trail, the entryways, the landscaping, the trash enclosure, the pond.
the retention wall, which is what you
Yep.
talked about
Yep.
before.
Yep.
So, I guess my big question is that I know we had a discussion, the staff, and I was in on that last Thursday with Alex and Wade, and we had some discussion, and I wouldn't call it a bone of contention, but I think Wade wasn't fully understanding about the trail, but they're okay with that now?
And do you mean the location of it
Well,
or the
The
construction?
paving of it,
Yeah, so we have not talked with them specifically, but that was going to be more of an administrative. The trail is going to be there no matter what.
so they're gonna at least
And the-
install the trail with, what do you call it, gravel or whatever?
So I guess, Alex, this can be definitely a conversation we can have now. So
Crushed limestone is what we use
the-
in the city.
the intent of the path or the trail, the pathway coming through on that east side, is that it is paved. We do know that there was some pushback on that and some hesitancy to do that right of way until the rest of the trail system is paved. So what the city is requesting is that it be paved. If it makes more sense to pave it all at one time and the rest of the trail to the south and in that natural area, then at bare minimum, the city would be looking to have that trail constructed with limestone, gravel, whatever you call it, to have a walking pathway kind of to that natural area right away. Do you have any issues or direction on which pathway you'd prefer there?
You're saying either the question is limestone or blacktop?
So the city's request is paving, blacktop. However, given the circumstances that the rest is not paved, we do have every intention of paving it. So we're looking to have it paved. Otherwise, we'd be willing to look at and work with you to have it just limestone and prep to be paved at this point.
I can't speak exactly to the question. I know that the big kind of back and forth was there's no other trail there, so does it make sense? I can't speak to at this point to say we're going to financially commit to one way or the other. So I think we'll probably have to have another discussion offline when we get.
Yeah, well, Alex, you're right. I mean, right now, it would be basically a dead end at the end of your site on the south side. So the trail is going to go on the east side of your property, on the east side of the property, all the way to the end, to the
Sure.
south end, from north to south. And you're right, it would end there, but the plan is to extend it to a current trail that we already have there and to pave that too. I'm not sure why you really care that it goes to a dead end anyways. We're just requesting that you put a trail in, and we would prefer that you pave it.
I know that there's some steep slopes where that changes.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Alex. We'll figure that out. We just want to make sure that you put in the trail, and then we'll worry about getting it extended to the current River Ridge Trail that's there.
I'm not saying that it's a no. I would have to understand what the limestone means and get estimates on that and approval from Wade.
Yep, I get it. I just didn't know if you had that discussion since last Thursday, that's all.
Not since last Thursday.
Okay, thanks, Alex. If you could get back to Jarrett, or have Wade get back to Jarrett with it.
Yep.
Thank you. We'll probably put that as part of I hope we'll put that as part of a stipulation in the site plan review today. Henry, you had your hand
Well,
up.
I got, I guess, two questions. I don't remember, but do we have a park fee for dwelling units? I don't have the right, when you put housing units in, like many municipalities have.
The site fee, yes, and that
Have
has
a park fee per unit, or if you so much per home that you might put in a subdivision.
yes, and they did pay that. So they paid that. They paid the pre-development fee, which covers any contract costs, and then they also paid the site fees.
Site fees, but we don't have, for some reason, I might be confusing this with somewhere else that I was plugged in on, but we don't have a park fee. Thought at one time we had a park fee.
The park fee is technically the site fee. It's a public site fee.
And they're
so-
paying per unit.
Yep.
So they've got 84 units? Something like that?
124.
11 buildings, 124 units.
Yeah, I will double check. I'm 90% positive that they did pay that.
Yeah, because
But
it's something like probably a couple $100 a unit. I guess where my brain is going a little bit is maybe there's a cooperation thing that maybe some of the park fee we collect could go back in there. But I think the developer needs to appreciate the city has spent a lot of money extending this trail to get it to kind of where it's at. We know it's incomplete, but we've had a lot of investment in that trail, so that's just a comment. My second, I'm not quite sure I understand the regional stormwater pond, and that'll be determined, when does the size of that get determined? Do you, right? I mean, it's on the site plan, and we're reviewing more of a regional pond, and the issue of whether we own it or the developer owns it and maintains it isn't solved yet, right?
No, we have an understanding that they're gonna size it correctly per the stormwater management report, and they gotta run their calculations and figure out how much water that thing's gonna need to treat. And then they will size it, they will build it, and then we will get an easement back from them for perpetual maintenance, just like we did with the apartments on Commercial and was that Webster?
Also,
That is our pond right now, and it needs to get bigger, and they're
Okay.
gonna make it bigger.
okay, so that was originally ours.
Yes,
I got you.
correct.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep.
So Henry, being the oldest guy in the room here, and these guys call me the historian now, but
Or
you're
fossil.
you're close to what, you know, so when we did the Woodland Estates, or when Jerry Lyons did the Woodland Estate, what he did is he allowed the River Ridge Trail to go through there in place of paying for park fees. And that's kind of what
What we're doing
hoping-
here, so, okay.
Yeah.
So they should have no real problem with doing that if the city's waiving those fees.
Right, right.
And we want a nice
Yeah.
trail it's gonna hold up, and again, extend the investment that we've made going out there too with that trail over the years.
These are-
Because it's not all been put in by developers out there. We put a lot of it in ourselves.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Site plan review too, we didn't really, what did we didn't really talk about on Godfrey Drive. Were we gonna put in sidewalk on Godfrey Drive? Or just a walkway across from the new single-family housing to that building?
The intent would not be to have sidewalk at this time. Nope, it'd consist of the trail, and then there may be rear trail connections to those existing businesses. Or there's another trail going up between them, so there might be something extending out from there. But at
And
this
there's no
time,
other sidewalk on Godfrey anyway.
no other sidewalk on Godfrey, yeah. So at this time, no sidewalk would need to be added to this development.
Okay. And then the parking you feel is adequate?
Parking should be,
We're not gonna have to worry
yeah.
about street parking or anything like that?
No, parking should be more than adequate,
Okay.
in staff's opinion, yep.
If we ever decide to put sidewalk, is there enough room there?
Yeah, there should be plenty of room. Godfrey Drive it's a very wide street the way it is, but there is more room
Okay.
within the right of way. Should not be a problem.
All right. Anybody else have any questions on any other part of the site plan review? All right, so what we're tasked with is approving the site plan review that was presented to you. I would ask that that we make sure that the trail is put in there, a paved trail is put in there on the east side of the property with that motion. Anybody want to make that motion?
I will move to approve as presented.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion by Gusky, second by Olson, that we approve the site plan review with that, making sure that the trail does include a paved trail on the east side of the property from the north, from Godfrey Drive to the end of their lot on the south side. Henry?
The mechanism, and I'm sure the developer is going to work with us, it's not going to be an issue. But if it is, what's our, is it the occupancy permit, or how does it get enforced?
Yeah, so, I mean, however it works out, we'll work with the developer, of course. But, for, hypothetically, nothing is put in. Everything is disregarded with the trail, which, again, it's not gonna happen.
Right.
But, just, it's left green space, no trail is added. At that point, we would hold occupancy. But we also have a development agreement with them. That could also be a mechanism.
Thanks.
But yeah, like you had mentioned, they've been great to work with thus far. I anticipate no issues. We can work through that.
Okay, any other discussion? We'll just do a voice vote here. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. Thanks, Alex and Brad. Thanks for hopping on.
Thank you, Plan Commission. We'll talk to you
Thank
soon,
you.
Jared.
Yeah, Greg, good luck with it.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Yep, see ya. Thanks. All right, the next thing is the site plan review for the airport taxi lane D project at 2601 Runway Drive. Jarek?
Of course, thank you very much, Mayor. So this agenda item starts on page 19 of your packets. There is a visual of the project, good visual, starting on page 22 of your packets. So as part of this approval, and I know there's a lot of colors here, so I'll make it easy, we're looking at the blue. As part of this whole hangar, combination of projects, there is a need for a taxi lane D, which is a side taxi lane that's coming from the existing taxi lane to service the other side of this eventual building. So at this point, it's really just asphalt. The anticipation, and there's full expectations that this whole thing will be built out. I believe that alternative entrance, the green, is kind of up in the air based on funding, but everything else should not be a problem. So bringing a site plan forward, there is no staff report because it is just asphalt at this point. There isn't a whole lot to take a look at. We really don't have standards for asphalt, but getting an approval for the site plan, it is new. It is a big project that has been in the works for a while. So I wanted to make sure you guys saw, the beginning of this. There will be future site plans coming forward for the building and all of the additional work. But right now, this is just for the asphalt taxi lane shown in blue.
So we're just approving the site plan review of a piece of blacktop.
Yes,
Okay,
very exciting.
Only for me.
yeah. Yeah, the Buckster's excited. Okay, so we just need a motion to approve the site plan review for this taxi lane. Anybody want to make a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Olson. Second by Gusky, that we approve the site plan review for Airport Taxi Lane D project at 2601 Runway Drive. Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. Ordinance number 10-2024. This is an amendment to Chapter 17.131, Parent 3, the B1 Neighborhood Business District Dimensional Standards. I'm a city planner now. Jarek, go ahead.
Honorary. This one starts on page 65 of your packets. It's just a single change, so I'll direct you to page 66 where the red line is. About 4 lines up from the bottom, you'll see the red changes. We are looking to adjust the street yard setback distance from 20 feet to 15 feet. This is for a couple of reasons. It was sparked by a potential development that would like to go into the city. They were questioning the setbacks, looking at the different sequential, reduction in setbacks as you go from a high commercial district to a low commercial district. Upon that information being provided to us, we did take a deeper dive and have a good discussion on can we look at reducing this from 20 feet to 15 or 10? 10 was felt that it was too low. We were getting too close to the front property line. Although this is a neighborhood business district and things are meant to be up closer. I guess a good example would be the dollar store on Churchill Street. That's up closer to the property line. It's kind of promoting walkability, closer to the sidewalk, things like that. Cars are behind. So just more of that neighborhood feel is the intent. But 10 was getting to be a little too short for safety concerns, and 15 felt like a good number to reduce that to. It also matches the rear yard setback. Sparked by a possible development interest, but talked through with staff and the mayor and decided on 15 to be a potential reduction too. So put that in ordinance format. At this point, we'd be looking for a recommendation of the ordinance, recommendation of approval of the ordinance to council.
Okay, so yeah, this would be a recommendation to council. We do not need to have a public hearing on this?
We do, but it is a language change that occurs at council.
Okay. All right, so if you're okay with this, we would need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Gusky,
Second.
second by Waller, that we approve ordinance number 10-24. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. All right, tell us what's going on in the city. Jared?
Not much, no. Permits steadily will come in, or steadily have been coming in. You'll see in this report that there were 7 new homes, new home permits issued. I believe in this report, one of them was actually 2 of them were renewals. So not 7 new homes specifically. We've seen that number, 2 of those already counted before, but we are hoping that they actually build now. So that is exciting. A lot of interior work has come in, AC replacements. Weird for this time of year, for this year. I didn't think it was that hot. But new homes, plumbing, everything stays pretty consistent. Roofing, siding, windows, doors. In the zoning side of things, site plan reviews have been the top number, followed by fences and signs. But a lot of the projects are keeping us busy. Nothing super notable. The preliminary plat had come through for the River North apartments, or River North Ridges, single family. So we hope to start to see some new single family homes come in for those lots. But yeah, pretty consistent, just still a pretty good number of permits coming in.
Good. Development?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to speak to the St. Mary's property that you, no?
I would like to ask about it.
No,
Okay.
I'm happy to give you an answer. So they came forward to council last night, and they updated their development agreement. There's some things that have changed due to the timing of their development and how long we can keep the TIF open, the incentive we can give, et cetera. So that was all cleaned up yesterday. And then we were unexpectedly blessed with an email today that showed that the state approved their plans to
That's
construct.
what they were waiting for, correct?
That is what they were waiting for. So glad we were able to get the DA signed up and wrapped up right away. And then now we have the plan approval. So their next steps, and did send them an email on this, but they will be getting that state approved, or those copies of the state approved plans. They will be providing those to the city. We'll do our quick once over, and then the individual contractors can apply for their permits. So I believe they were really hoping to get started in September, was their hope. So I think they are in line to do that.
That's great news.
It is.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
You did mention too that the value is gonna be quite a bit more than what he.
I don't recall those numbers. Do you recall what the
Do you remember
increase
how many
was?
units that was? Was there
Three
like
point two.
Yep, so it went from, in the original development agreement, the developer was guaranteeing 2.16 million, and now it's been pushed up to 3.2 million.
Pretty good.
How many units was it again?
30 units, I believe 16 of them were two bedrooms and 14 of them were one bedroom.
That sounds accurate. Yeah, nothing has changed with the site plan or anything like that.
design?
Yep, nothing has really changed with the design. I think there were a few internal changes, of course, but general layout is the same. General concept is the
The
same.
apartments are still actually gonna be along, is that Badger? I should know that.
Yep.
Main drag.
Yep.
And the parking lot's gonna be behind.
Yep. With attached garages also behind. Yeah,
Cool.
it'd be great to have that in the downtown and get some new residents that can shop and eat. And
September.
September start date. They have a hard deadline to meet their development agreement by the end of next year, but I would anticipate that they hope to have it complete, if there are no hiccups, by, I would say, end of summer. So I know that the developer is also praying for no hiccups. So I think he's had enough of them, and he's hoping for smooth sailing from here.
Yeah. Any other questions? Anybody?
On, regarding that or anything else?
Anything?
What's going on across the street from your office? Is this the place to ask that question?
The Mexican restaurant?
Pardon me?
Oh,
Mex-
the
Mex-
weasels?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, go ahead.
Jane, our commercial building inspector, took Aaron and I through a little tour earlier this week. It's coming together. It's getting there. They
I
are still
understand
in.
there was a lot of unforeseen building issues.
There were a lot of unforeseen building issues. When they started to take down the ceiling, the whole ceiling kind of came down. They had to fire wall or fire separate those two, commercial unit versus residential. So, I think they've run into some issues with the bathroom. They had to upsize, do things like that. But it's coming along. I know we consistently see contractors over there. The HVAC contractor was there when we went over. They have a lot of the cosmetic things as much as they can get done. They have a nice stone-lined bar, in there. They have the clay tiles in an area kind of overhanging where the benches will be. They're putting together custom benches. So it's really coming together, but we don't have a timeline for it. They
You're
are
seeing continued progress.
yes,
and I guess
seeing
that's
continued
encouraging.
progress. It's just they're on their own timeline at this point.
Good.
Okay.
The distillery still has a fall opening date, so they're on track. That also looks beautiful. Super excited for that to come in. If you haven't seen, H.H. Hinder added their garage doors to their event space. So definitely check that out. That is also a fantastic looking building. So lots going on.
Yeah, there isn't, we took a walk down Main Street today. There isn't a whole lot of open space down there. There is a building on the north side there, down on the north side, on the west side of North Main Street that's for sale. That's the individual from Stevens Point. Is that the guy that owns that?
That was, I'm blanking on his name, not the one you're thinking of, but
Okay.
I forgot.
Oh, it's all right. But there is one building for sale down there, and it's been completely remodeled. I think they must be gonna sell snowmobiles. There's two of them sitting in there. Jake?
Maybe.
Yeah.
There we go.
Chief? But yeah. Anybody else? Looking for a motion to adjourn then.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Olson, second by Barons, that we adjourn. All in favor? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Again, say no. Motion carried. Never heard anybody say no before, but, we're adjourned at 5:54 PM.